let's discuss the 3 challenges that people face when starting a fire using a ferro rod. So, what most people experience is one of these 3 challenges. There's either the technique challenge, the challenge of getting the right tinder, or more on the technique part of it, which is the angle of the way that their striker is interacting with their ferro rod. So we're going to talk about those 3 briefly, and then maybe you can identify some of the issues that you could be having and just what you need to do to work through those problems. So let's get into it. First, there's tinder collection. So this you might know if you're from Florida or around here in my region, and that is the palm husk. Now this comes from the trunk underneath the fronds, where the fronds come out of the trunk. You can collect this stuff most of the time, most of the seasons throughout the year, and this stuff goes up pretty readily because it's fibrous hair-like materials. But it doesn't have to be this. If you're in a different part of the country, a different part of the world, collect what you know or suspect will accept a flame. Maybe that's fatwood, maybe that's birch bark, maybe that's something indigenous in your area. But think about what will accept a spark and then go up in flame. That's what you're looking for. It may either be because of the composition of the material or because it has something that, like a chemical, that would ignite in that material. So just having a little bit of local knowledge as to what that'll be in your area goes a long way. But twigs don't get that job done. Twigs won't get that done. You need fibrous material if it's about the composition and not about the chemical that's helping you out on getting that tinder figured out. So that's the tinder element. The other 2, so that's the first one. The other 2 are they're basically both hand in hand with technique. So real quickly before I move away from the camera slightly here is the angle of your interaction between your striker. Now in this case it's the spine of my knife, but it doesn't have to be. If you have a dedicated striker, that's fine, use that. But in the case for a lot of us, we're using our knife for this. Now, if you have a knife with a 90-degree, what they call a 90-degree spine, you don't want to use the flat part of the knife blade, what they call the flat, which is this part right here. And you definitely don't want to use the sharpened part of the knife. What you want to use is the spine, but you want to offset it 45 degrees. So you don't want to use it flat like this and try and do it. You want to actually dig in and bite in with the corner of your edge. So the corner, not the flat and not the flat there. Okay, so that's the first part of the technique that needs to get down, and it's going to look somewhat like this, right? Not like that and not like this, but 45 degrees like that. Okay, I hope that is translatable in the camera. The second part of the technique, so the third problem that we encounter. So to recap, first problem, tinder selection, whether it be chemical or composition issue, or the angle by which you're working that interaction between your striker and your ferro rod. Third thing is the proximity and the technique that goes into actually striking the fire. So we're building upon the techniques and the challenges that we face, right? So third thing looks like this. You want to lock in your striker, whatever that may be. I don't care what kind of striker you're using, but lock it in right here, really close to your tinder bundle. All right, lock it in there, and then we want to violently pull our elbow away. We don't want to strike. Striker, I know they call it a striker, but that's a misnomer. We don't want to strike. What we want to do is we want to pull the rod away, okay? And when we do that, what we're not doing is messing up our fire triangle. So the fire triangle is the proper mixture of oxygen, the fuel, and the ignition. And if you get those 3 things in the right amounts, you're going to have flame via spark in this case. But if we push down if we pack down our tinder bundle by striking instead of pulling, then we're removing some of the oxygen, which we need in order to have that fire triangle. So what does that look like? Well, we lock in our striker and we set up our ferro rod not here, all the way as close to our hand as we can get. And here's another trick, we want to get close to our hand. We don't want to do it out here. We want it in here. We don't want it out there. We want it in here. And we want to pull this, not strike that. Okay, don't do that. Do this. All right. So in close, where the sparks can't go out before they've went into our tinder bundle, we're going to push down hard with the striker and pull away violently with our the hand that your rod is in. Use parental supervision if you're a minor, but that's what that looks like. So hopefully you've understood these the 3 challenges that people face and which one may be challenging for you. If you want to train with us, we're in Central Florida, but we're willing to travel, and we train all the time with ethos, bushcraft, and survival. My name is Jeff, and I thank you for viewing.